from people who oppose his position. So that conversation is coming up on the show, and you can be a part of it by simply sending us a WhatsApp on 061-410-4107. And I guess the first question would have to be, do you agree with his sentiment that this country hates our boys? 1:10, time for us to catch up with Bahle Mota.
Don't blow your paycheck on high car insurance premiums when you could be saving with Outsurance. So how much does 35-year-old Zanai save?
A whopping 1,180 Rand.
That's an incredible 1,180 Rand monthly saving on Zanai's 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA. Get a quote now and see how much Outsurance could save you. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754.
With Outsurance, I'm saving a whole 729 Rand.
729 Rand is a sweet saving on 32-year-old Parushka's 2020 Haval H2. And after 3 claim-free years, you get an out bonus.
Yes, I'm ready for that out bonus.
You also get benefits like 24/7 roadside assistance and loads more. Get a quote now and see how much money Outsurance could save you. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
Need your production executed professionally, on time, and within budget? SABC Technology delivers. From live broadcasts to pre-recorded and streamed content across all major platforms. We handle post-production, editing, audio final mix, and graphics, all with state-of-the-art technology. Looking for radio or television outside broadcasting, or a fully equipped studio or auditorium to bring your big idea to life? We've got you covered. SABC Technology, your trusted service provider. Contact us today at bookings@sabcfacilities.co.za.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
Hey, by the way, I don't want you to miss out on good things that are getting lost amidst us forever taking Madlanga. Remember that we are running that Valentine's Day skincare giveaway competition. You know Dr. Judy Pretorius. She comes on the show every other Tuesday. She's been with us for around 9 months now, and we talk all things skin matters. And she has put together an incredible gift for 2 couples valued at 5,000 Rand each. It's a very, very nice surprise for the month of love. And all you have to do is send us a WhatsApp on 061-410-4107 and let us know how you met your partner and how you guys have kept the love burning over the years. I mean, you could have been together for a year, for 6 months, for 12 years, for a lifetime. We really don't care how long you've been together. We're just trying to find the cutest stories of how you met and how you've kept together through the years. And you could be walking away with one of those 5,000 Rand vouchers, 5,000 Rand gift hampers from Biomedical Emporium Skincare. And trust me, this is the good stuff. She comes here, she talks about skin every other Tuesday. She answers all of your skin challenging questions, and she's well versed, this, and she's a product formulator. And we've been testing out some of her stuff as our team because she's let us dip into her arsenal of skincare, and I can tell you this, it's really, really good stuff. Valued at 5,000 Rand each per couple. So 061-410-4107 is our WhatsApp line. Let us know how you met and what has kept you together. For now, let's dip into all things Madlanga with Bahle Mota, our SABC News report, and find out what we've missed from day 58. How are you doing, Bahle?
Good afternoon to you, Bridget, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for the time. Appreciate it. So, of course, all eyes right now are on Ad Hoc Committee with Paul O'Sullivan, but these have been tandem processes running at the same time. So let's get to abreast with what's been happening at the Madlanga Commission over the last day or two.
Okay, great. So today we have the IP Director of Investigation and Provincial Coordinator, Mr. Thuso Gifelakai, and he's basically testifying about some of the cases that were brought to the IP's attention regarding Julius Mkhwanazi. As you remember, it was the Blue Light Saga. It was also allegations that had been made against Julius Mkhwanazi's specialized task team, which was working together with the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, who allegedly stole precious stones worth 45 million rands. And also, we get to hear just a little bit more on the investigation of the body that was dumped by the late witness D. I think in a dam in Nigel, and how far those investigations are going. So, as you know, a lot of the testimony, even from Advocate Bihari yesterday or the past 2 days, has indicated that, Advocate Bihari, as well as the then city manager, Dr. Imogen Mashazi, were actually shielding Julius Mkhwanazi from facing any disciplinary hearing in regards to this Blue Light saga. So, what he's basically testifying about is just the sort of challenges that they encountered, especially with the city of Ekurhuleni, when Julius Mkhwanazi was meant to be disciplined, and in regards to his MOUs that he entered into with Vusmuzi Madlanga, and so in the sort of unwillingness that they actually encountered from the city of Ekurhuleni. So I think his testimony in this regard is very important, because it sort of corroborates or proves some of the allegations that have been made by the suspended chief of police, Jadlani Mapiyeye, Commissioner Rivo Spies, as well as Polani Musa, before the commission, to state that they do believe that there is some evidence showing that Julius Mkhwanazi was actually protected by Advocate Kemi Bihari, as well as the former city manager, Dr. Imogen Mashazi.
Wow. I guess we continue to be gobsmacked every day with all the revelations that continue to come through during these processes. At this point, it's almost as though nothing is surprising to us anymore.
No, definitely not. I think what was even more surprising about his testimony as well is that, Advocate Behari had come before the commission and said that they didn't want to institute any investigation against Julius Mkhwanazi, because there was a parallel investigation that was launched by the SAPS, and he said the matter is sub judice case, so they would wait for that process to conclude before they could act against Julius Mkhwanazi. Again, you're finding that IPID is saying this is completely false, saying that they don't understand what had come over the city of Ekurhuleni in making such statements, because both statements, or both rather processes, could actually run in parallel. So again, it's proving the fact that your advocate Kemi Bihari, as well as Dr. Imogen Mashazi, might have actually shielded Julius Mkhwanazi in this Blue Light saga, and him having to take accountability.
Let's also just touch a little bit as well on the Ekurhuleni Metro municipality, because it seems as though they really we didn't expect that they would take such center stage at the Madlanga Commission. They almost as though they are the hub of corruption at the moment, from what we've gathered.
It seems like it, Bridget, because the things that we've heard coming up from a city of Ekurhuleni, just the sort of internal corruption, impeding on the sort of law enforcement processes rather that were meant to take place against Julius Mkhwanazi. But again, also, you're finding that this, when Julius Mkhwanazi and some of the men that he was working with were embarking on other criminal activities, you're finding that even the process to move these investigations is actually not going anywhere. Taking the one of the body, Mr. Mbenze's body, who was dumped in the Nigel Dam. Now the commissioners are putting it to the IPID to say, why has this case taken so long, and now there are excuses coming from the IPID to say that no, they are investigating the case now, and the person who will present themselves before the Madlanga Commission will actually answer about some of these cases that are relating to Julius Mkhwanazi. So what is quite evident is that while Julius Mkhwanazi may have been protected by the city of Ekurhuleni, but you're finding other law enforcement agencies like the IPID are also under-resourced to take on some of the cases that they are seized with. At one point he's saying that their officers have at least over 300 cases that they are seized with from the IPID relating to police officers. So you can see if there is willingness from the IPID to sort of investigate some of these cases, but you can see that the lack of resources somehow hinders that process. But I think more than anything, Ekurhuleni seems like it's the example of corruption at the Madlanga Commission, and we can only hope to see if any other acts of criminality as well as corruption will be found as well with the city of Joburg and city of Tshwane. But I remember Mr. Gifela Guy was saying that we are still coming to Tshwane, we are still coming to Joburg, and there's still other cases that we will be speaking about here at the Madlanga Commission.
Yeah, no? Because honestly, and being in the industries that we are in, we obviously from time to time you hear certain things catch the wind, and so as much as you're saying that, it was said that we're still coming to Tshwane, we're still coming to Joburg, and then I wonder when we push on forwards to other provinces like Mpumalanga, for instance, like Eastern Cape, for instance, we might be thinking that Ekurhuleni is the epicenter of crime, but it might just be literally the tip of the iceberg in the entire system as this unfolds.
No, definitely. I think it's just set the bar. I don't think there's any other, city or metro that would probably go below what we've seen in the city of Ekurhuleni. But I mean, only time will tell. We can only speculate right now, but we'll see once, the investigations also possibly stretch into the city of Tshwane and the city of Joburg.
Yeah, Sbahle, there's a lot to unpack, but I think we'll leave it there. Maybe before we even leave it there, so far at the commission, we've seen obviously the death of two individuals already witnessed, D. And then we also saw that attempted murder on one of the implicated persons there, Weandre Pretorius, who survived the assassination attempt last Wednesday, I think it was, or Thursday, but then went on to take his own life just a few days later. Do we know anything further about Weandre and the depth of which he was allegedly implicated, and maybe anything else that's come out since then,
No, nothing as yet. I think what we do know from what the police have said is the fact that he was implicated in witness D's testimony. But what we know from the commission is that he was never subpoenaed or ordered to present himself before the commission. So I think obviously the police now, this matter is in the hands of the police, and we haven't seen any action from the commissioners as we saw with the death of witness D. I mean, we saw it at some point. I think it was Commissioner Kumar and Commissioner Sesibaloyi, as well as the spokesperson visiting witness D's house. So we haven't seen any action regarding, Mr. Pretorius. But I think that also sort of reflects maybe his sort of impact or contribution rather to the Madlanga Commission. So we haven't heard anything, and I think as time goes on, only the police will possibly fill us in on the investigations, but it doesn't look like it has any impact in the Madlanga Commission.
All right. Sbahle Mota, thank you so much for your time. That was Sbahle, SABC news reporter, bringing us the rundown on day 58 of the Madlanga Commission. And like I said, we are, from our end, we're a bit fluid at the moment, just juggling some things around. At some point during the broadcast, we are going to go to Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee, but we also have some other matters of content that we do need to get through. Because radio must still happen in its traditional form, even in and around everything that's happening around this important conversation, dealing with those inquiries. We see your WhatsApps coming. My producers have asked me to remind you again. They see the text WhatsApps around your meet cute. That's what they call it in film, your meet cutes. But if you can send it to us in a voice note, that would be better, because it will be better for us to hear your story from your lips in your own voice. 0614104107. That's where you can send the story of how you met your partner and what has kept you all together. You can have been together for a year, for 6 months, for 60 years. And all of this, of course, is because Dr. Judy has decided to gift you with a wonderful Valentine's Day gift for 2 couples, and each hamper is valued at 5,000 Rand, and it contains Biomedical Emporium skincare and their medicated skincare range formulated by Dr. Judy Pretorius, who is a regular on the show every other Tuesday. She's here. She avails herself to bring you information around skincare and answer all your questions. And so she's put together this incredible package, and her products are really, really good. So if you can get your hands on it, why not? 061-410-4107 is our WhatsApp line. That's where you can send us your stories, your meet cutes of how you met your partner. Maybe it was awkward, maybe it was funny, maybe it was embarrassing. Who knows? We'd love to know from you. Let's take a quick pause. We'll be right back.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365. Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za. As we celebrate 90 years of existence, SAFM takes you back to the voices that shaped a nation.
Now leave the SABC and see the tower block lit up, 27 stories of light. Move from Auckland Park into the shadow of the Hillbrow Post Office Tower.
This is the English service of the SABC. Here is the news, read by Patricia Carr. A member of the Planning Committee of the President's Council, Mr. Nick Churnicht, has been appointed chairman of the Council's Community Relations Community.
90 years of trusted voices. This is SAFM. Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, it is the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, on SAFM, and we are in conversation with my guest today. He joins us for a very important dialogue, and hopefully you become part of this conversation as well, because you are part of it on a more national platform, and it's a very important one. It's been raging on for a couple of years now, but Mzamo says perhaps our perspective needs to shift a little bit in as far as how we tackle the conversation or where we enter the conversation. So Dr. Mzamo Masito joins me now. He's a transformative leader at the intersections of business, social impact and human possibility, and has got just under 30 years of experience in shaping global brands and driving meaningful change across technology, telecoms, sports and consumer goods. And the book is out. I'm trying to reach for it, but we're streaming. It's over here. Maybe I can ask my technician, can you just grab it for me? Thank you. I put it on the other side. So if we are streaming, here's the shot of the book. This country hates our men. Where's my camera? It's that one. This country hates our men / boys. Boys, you are on your own. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming through. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
I feel as if we defended this book before we read this book, because you released it a few weeks ago. And I think Kaya Langa, who's a friend of yours, Kaya put it out there. And of course, it created much conversation just from the title alone. When it came out, I remember being on Twitter, and there's a few minds that we all follow on social media. You know, you follow some of the chatter boxes. Then you follow people who actually drive conversation and people who engage thinking, critical thought, and like discourse, just to balance yourself on social media. And I remember seeing some of those accounts going in singular words, quoting the post Kaya, going, rubbish, pathetic, why? And I looked, and this was males and females, because I thought maybe it's just females first. And then I looked as male and females, and all feminist across the board. And I thought, well, these are very strong reactions from this book. Very, very strong, based on a title, on a book that no one's actually opened a page. Was that deliberate, Samu? Because then we defended you on this show with Usiwela Langeni, who is a bookworm, and we talk books every week. And we both defended you. We were like, knowing what we know about you.
I would say that it was definitely deliberate. Here's why it is deliberate. As someone who's been doing this for over 21 years, running African Men Care in the trenches with boys and men, who's witnessed boys failing and falling behind, who's witnessed men struggling. The amazing thing when you interview boys in particular and men, one of the key things I remember recently, actually I was in Cape Town interviewing boys from Hout Bay, formal settlement, informal settlements, Kailicha, Kugule, Tulanga. And one of the things one of the boys said was, you know what, uncle, the way I feel sometimes about society is that we are a pebble and a thorn in women's shoes. And who gets to love a thorn and a pebble in their shoe? Ooh. And then I was like, what do you mean? He says, the things that are said about boys and about our fathers at home hurt us. To be called, like when you hear someone says your uncle, your grandparents, or your mom, your aunt say, Tatako Yinja, you just like your father is useless. And they say like these things are painful and we don't know how to rebuttal them or to respond to them. Then we get to school. And when we're at school, there are no male role models. 9 out of 10 teachers are females. And we don't have a role model, but we're also treated harshly at school. If I commit an act as a boy versus a girl, I am 3 times more likely to be punished harsher than the girl. And this is not me saying this. This is actually the boy saying it, but whispering under the table. Men are whispering under the table. When my brother committed suicide and he hanged himself and his son, the suicide note he left me was, I'm not sure we are loved here.
Can we hold on that very emotive point? My apologies for this because I didn't want to break your train of thought, but there's a lot of moving parts and we thought we weren't going to take headline news and now we have to take headline news. So let's take headline news and we apologize for its delay. But I did say there's a lot of moving parts when Ad Hoc is involved on the show and even our structure becomes a bit weird.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, Witness F, a partially in-camera witness who has been implicated in testimony of the Madlanga Commission, has withdrawn his urgent court bid to block his appearance before the inquiry. Action SA says it will lay criminal charges against private investigator Paul O'Sullivan for lying to Parliament under oath, and 7 people, including a minor, have died in a car crash involving 3 vehicles on the N2 near Bulembu Airport outside King Williamstown in the Eastern Cape. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Wherever you are in the world, SAFM 104 to 107 is accessible. We're also streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube at SAFM Radio. We acknowledge and appreciate everyone tuning in and watching our streams. Stay with SAFM 104 to 107 as we bring you Commission Live, breaking stories, and thought-provoking lectures. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
We are sitting with the highly accomplished Dr. Mzamo Masito, who joins us now, PhD. This country hates our men/boys, and boy, you are on your own. And we were still unpacking this title because it was very emotive. And parts of me, when I was talking to Siwela, I said to her, well, knowing that he's a global brand strategist and a communications expert and someone who in his professional sense also studies trends and how to respond to social dynamics, I'm like, this was deliberate. My assessment, deliberate to spark the conversation, but perhaps also to jolt the individual. And also, which author doesn't want a book to sell? Because when I've got your attention, hopefully you will now go engage the content.
Exactly. But it was to take things that are under the table and put them on top of the table. Because the majority of boys and men are scared now to say anything that relates to men and boys, because immediately it gets seen as either you are anti-woman or you are anti-gender equality, you are anti anything that is about women progress. Whereas all I wanted to do was to say, hey, by the way, we are making amazing progress on education, on health, on girls. By the way, we're also leaving boys behind. And the two can be true. You can empower girls and continue to empower them, while at the same time dropping the ball on another segment of society. And the issue is that when these issues are not put on top of the table, they fest into anger, into rage, into violence, into rape. So mine was, let me put it on the table and put it on top of the table. And I know who would say, yeah, I agree, I hate. But we've had this many times. Most men have confirmed in most research, whether you do quantitative, qualitative research, when you even interview both sexes, you will hear words like, I don't hate boys, but actually I don't sure if I don't hate men. And now there's all of a sudden what is called selective misandry, where people are separating a boy from a man as if the two are disconnected, as if there are boys who are born men. And no boy is born a man. You're born a boy who becomes a man. And no one just becomes a wounded man. You're first a wounded boy who becomes a wounded man. You are a hurt boy who becomes a man who hurts other people. And then there's this other thing that boys and men say in this book, that there seems to be hostile venting and verbal violence towards boys and men. And there's also collective punishment. That the truth is this: most violent crimes in this country are committed by men against men, women, and children. Yet, here's another truth: most men in this country are not violent. So just because the majority of violent crimes are committed by men, it doesn't then conclude that all men are violent. It's not true. I have men who have been in marches where they are supporting marches against gender-based violence, against femicide. When they're at the march, some of them, when I interview, then they say, you know, I was at that march, the first two placards I saw, the first one says, all men must die. And he was like, people, I'm here. I haven't had anyone, but 2 weeks ago my brother died and he was shot from violent death by another man. But I'm here to also say men also experience violence. They don't just experience death. They also experience violence. So this is just to say to people, somehow as society, we have an either or, not an and. And I just want to bring back the conversation where these things are affecting all of us. They're not just affecting a certain segment of society.
And I've heard you speak, so many things that we can double back on. You are welcome, by the way, to be a part of the conversation. Our WhatsApp line is 061-410-4107, and we're keeping a keen eye on it to ensure that we do bring you into it. So if you want to send us a voice note around this, you are more than welcome to do it. Don't wait until the last moment. It's an interesting point that this part of the book and the conversations that I've had you speak, sort of this highlighting of the fact that violent men are violent in general, because a large part of the social conversation around GBV in the country, the G might as well be replaced with F, for feminine, because the conversation has always been skewed that way. And we've always believed, or at least the data that's always presented, because we have these conversations on the show, and the data that's always presented is data that speaks to the feminine experience, and that women are disproportionately murdered by men in this country. And so part of the broader conversation has always been, well, we can't exclude, we can't say not all men, because in the majority, y'all are the perpetrators of, murder and abuse and violence towards women. So we then bundle y'all all into one. And And I understand you sort of the cautionary tale of that in saying that no, violent men are violent. And in fact, you make a point to bring a stat around men on men deaths and them superseding men on female death.
And that's the danger of a single story. The danger of a single story is that unintentionally, it also excludes those who are also pained by violence. I mean, if you have in this country 100 people who die from homicide, and the way we define homicide in this country, it's androcide, which is masculicide, men who die from violent deaths. It's femicide, women who die from violent deaths. And then children, felicide, or women who are killed by their parents or killed by adults. Those are the stats. But if there's 100 people who die in this country, 88 to 90% of those people who die from homicide are men. But if we go outside and we say femicide is a national crisis, we are only mentioning the 10 that died from violent deaths. What are we saying unintentionally about the 90 that also were killed by other violent men? Violent men are not killing women and children only. They are killing men and boys too. They are not just raping women and children. They are raping men and boys. The fact that we have a single story in this country that when a man is raped, a boy is raped, or a man is killed, it's not news. It's not headline. It's not clickbait. You have to be a woman and you have to be a child. Sometimes you even have to be a dog or a cat or a horse to even get attention, because violent men inflict violence across men, women, children, dogs and cats, and plants. They don't select anyone. Anyone is game for violent people. And when we say women are scared of men, we forget that men are also scared of violent men. So the caution I make is not to diminish or belittle or dilute the fact that gender-based violence is real against women and children and girl child. Is to say, actually, we are all dying from the same issue. The country's crisis is actually violence against men, women, children. That's the crisis. So if we all unite and we go to government and we say, make that a national crisis, we are now all supporting each other. But we can't go on a march that says femicide is a national crisis, and in that march there are placards that says all men must die, amadoda zizinja. That's counterproductive, and it doesn't unite us, it actually divides us.
Then I've got to ask you, Mzabo, because there'll be women listening, even myself, as we have this conversation. And by the way, he's a father to girl children. Yes. I was at pains at bringing this up as well with Suela. As I'm listening to you speaking, there was a little part of my brain that also just went like 5 seconds ago, and maybe I had to check it a little bit myself, where I had to go, well, I hear you. I hear you saying that, how do you expect me to be your ally and to be your protector when you hold the view of the collective? And then there was the part of me that said, well, how do you expect me to feel any kind of safety around you when my interaction with your gender as a female is that of fear, of brutality, of harassment, of it becomes difficult. And just speaking as a female, it becomes difficult to sometimes weed through that. You know, even I find myself when I'm walking in my neighborhood, I have to remind myself, you know, you can feel umuntu coming behind you. I have to remind myself, Bridget, don't be paranoid. Bridget, don't be a Karen. Don't turn around and, you know, have that thing just because a black man is walking behind you. He's allowed to walk behind you. But that's the internal dialogue that women grapple with in this country, because that's the sort of the fear that's engulfed them.
But then the danger with that is we radically pathologize men. Radically. So men become a pathology, a parasite. And now, even when I walk, I run in the streets. When I see a woman, I move on the other side because I'm aware that I am part of this collective that is seen to be violent, is seen to not to be safe to see. But it's also dangerous because every township I grew up in, or rural area, the perpetrator, which is a male that committed a sinful act or malevolent act, it is also men who go and find him and bring him to justice or beat him up. But that group of men all of a sudden don't exist. But it is the same men who says, no, this is not about us.
Yeah.
This doesn't represent us. But that story, for some reason, as a society, we choose only hostile venting. We choose verbal violence only towards men. But men are not only violent and malevolent and Luciferian, walking out as Satan only. And they are only lions of Judah. They are never lambs of Christ. I mean, come on. Like, it's just a very dangerous narrative. Because, for example, when a woman kills 8 people for a policy, or Dr. Nandi is the good doctor, it's rare that you find there's a collective judgment that says all women are like this. It's rare. Even when a woman kills a child, it's rare you find society then concluding that all women are murderers of children. But let a man do the same. Then there's collective punishment and collective judgment.
True.
And that is defeating to men who are actually genuinely good men, who are trying to do the best they can, who are, for example, in this country, over 44 to 50% of kids are raised by men who didn't give birth to them. Those are good men, but no one tells that story. The story we know is the story of absent fathers. No one tells the story of there's close to 50% of kids who are not raised even by mothers. Mothers themselves, 5 out of 10 are absent. But that narrative doesn't exist. The only narrative we choose about men is only the negative things they do, as if men are not a yin and a yang. Men, yes, I'm not denying that there's malevolence and shadows in men, but you can't sum up a man only on shadows and not mention their light.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, important conversation. We'd like you to be a part of it. If my team can start fielding through the WhatsApps so we can get to that. And we really want to also focus this conversation on the shift of the narrative of men. So I'm also conscious in my mind as I'm having it with you, Mzamo, that let me not make it about women, because it's literally about the boy child in particular who turns into this man that we've got to grapple with. Let's go to WhatsApp quickly. Are there cams there near you? I don't know if I saw headphones there. If there are headphones there, if not, then we'll just boom it in the studio. Let's just boom it in the studio then. Let's go to WhatsApp quickly, 0614104107 before we take our 10-2 break.
Let's have the conversation. WhatsApp voice notes on 0614 104 107.
Good afternoon. My name is Calvin from Pinoni. Yes, I agree with the speaker, or our guest this afternoon. You know, when the boys and the boy fight, it's called a common assault. But when a girl and a girl fights, we can decide what to call it. But when a boy and a girl fight, even if they were fighting for very same thing that we have called it a common assault, it will then be turned around to be called a gender-based violence. How do we solve these issues? Thank you.
I appreciate. All I'm saying is, in this society problem of GBV, every man that you see and woman that you see is got the mother. The mother who was giving a birth to him or her. So, before you blaming men, blame your mother. It's the mother who gave birth to that man that you see, that woman that you see. It's family crisis, not a man crisis. Thank you.
Afternoon, guys. My take is I have a question around GBV. Does GBV exclude male? Does GBV mean it's only women who are experiencing violence? As my brother has said, all people are experiencing violence. And that's the thing.
All right, we're going to take a quick ad break, get that out of the way, and then we come back. We'll get to your WhatsApps and we'll continue the conversation as well with Dr. Mzamo Masito joining us in studio.
Alcohol drowns our hope and fuels our pain. Our streets are flooded. Our families are breaking. Women and children are not safe. Alcohol kills 100 people in South Africa every day. For more information, visit www.truecostofalcohol.africa. Increase excise tax on alcohol.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
When music meets nature, something unforgettable happens. Symphony by the Water, a world-class live music experience set against the breathtaking beauty of Midmar Dam, featuring the KZN Philharmonic Orchestra, Spogazi, the Black Labels, Saturday, the 7th of March, 2026. Day tickets from $150, evening tickets from $350. Tickets available at WebTicket and Pick n Pay. Symphony by the Waters, where sound flows.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
This Country Hates Our Men. Boy, you are on your own. And it's actually an easy read. It looks like an intimidatingly big book, but it's actually a very easy read. And he's backed up his perspective and his thinking as well with some data and some research and some personal stories here. We are with Dr. Mzamo Masito, who joins us. This Country Hates Our Men. He wrote the book, Boy, You Are On Your Own. You can Google him, so you know uphuma kuphi njengoba ekhuluma kanje. But can you hear even from our voice notes just how emotive this conversation is? And almost there's hurt and anger and even venom on all sides.
Definitely. We are very divided on this issue. And we're very divided to a point where I am also trying to present a story that says there's so much hate, real righteous normative hate and hate towards each other, particularly black and colored people, women and men, males or females. And the danger with this is that love for the child, young child, boy or girl, begins at the end of our competition. And our competition and conflict is partly the cause of the child's poverty. So if we continue competing and conflicting with each other, when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. And the grass here is the boy child, is the girl child. And what we don't realize as society is that the verbal violence that we inflict on each other, at some point, it drips into the child. Nothing escapes the child. So I wish at some point we stop this blame business, blame the mother, blame the father, blame the maid. When are we ever going to restore black love and black unity to a point where we use that to identify the real problems and unite like we did against apartheid?
Yeah.
Now we find another new problem and we unite women and men, females and males, we unite. And then especially for the child doesn't need division. It needs unity.
And you know, one of the things that you also spell out in the book, obviously, are a lot of the socio-economic, cultural and environmental dynamics that sort of have added fuel to this fire. It's a multi-pronged problem, and it requires a multi-pronged strategy. But you also simplified it in saying one of the simplest ways to intervene at a boy-child level is to give him a good man, for him to have that person in his corner who doesn't have to be biological. And I know you like rap. I was trying to think of the lyric. I couldn't remember which one of the rap boys it was that my biological didn't bother. Someone who's an old school rap head. Was it Tupac?
And Eminem.
Okay, both. Because it speaks to that. If your biological doesn't bother, then let's find someone else.
Yes, for me, I am a product of when my father abandoned me, my biological father. Many social fathers stepped in, which I guess we call them step, because they stepped in. One, my stepfather stepped in, and when we started selling drugs, he's the one who took me to Boy Scouts. He saved my life. He might have been present and a violent partner to my mother, but he was also a father who saved my life. Then when I get to Scouts, I have a Scout master who becomes my social father, my role model. When in the days when I was at school, 50% of the teachers were male in primary and high school. Now, 9 out of 10 teachers are female. From foundation, early childhood development, all the way to grade 12. There are very few male role models at schools anymore. So I had social fathers that I look up to. The same when I get to varsity. So I'm a proponent of, if the biological father is absent, replace him. I know it's not 100% perfect. It's better than zero. It gets you to 50% or 60%. So we need more social fathers. We need more males to step in and close the gap. And uncle, if my sister has a son and his father is absent, it is my responsibility to become the father to that boy, so that I will never be able to close the wound of abandonment, but I can show him masculinity that is positive, so that he doesn't only remember negative masculinity.
Absolutely. You know, I'm trying to search because I kept so many tweets that were posted at the height of the book coming out about 2 weeks ago. Because to your point, someone said, and it was a gentleman, an Indian gentleman, I forget, financing somehow is his biog. And he spoke to that. He was like, systematically and systemically, who is failing the boy child is the man. Because where are you? As the man executive, why aren't you starting the initiative in your company, bring a boy child to work? As the uncle, why aren't you stepping up if the father is not there? He listed a whole bunch and he said, let's stop shifting and saying the focus is Nati. Let's start the things that speak to that parallel development, growth, nurturing and protection.
But the thing is though, I know this having been in lots of group of safe spaces for men. Including CEOs who are men, all the way down to junior staff. They are scared. They are scared to talk about boys and men, because as soon as they do that, then words like misogyny, patriarchy, toxic masculinity, anti-woman empowerment gets thrown. Those words checkmate men. They scare men. They are actually the scariest words like you can use to checkmate men. So they are scared. It's not that they don't know there's a problem. It's just that, I mean, when you're working, some of these people have to have a job. They need the job. So would you be the one who stir the pot and get into trouble? So you rather focus on where the zeitgeist is, which is take a girl child to work, girl empowerment, be pro-woman empowerment, as if it's mutually exclusive. You can be pro-woman empowerment while also being pro-boy empowerment. But in this society, there's a dialectical immaturity that you must be only one thing, or else you get cancelled if you're trying to juggle both truths, where you say, I'm pro-boys and I'm pro-girls. I'm a father of 3 daughters. My concern is when my daughters, who are fully empowered, outspoken, confident, they will not be poor in no time. Now, when they decide to marry a heterosexual man, where are these people going to come from when 65% of them are unemployed, when a majority of them drop out in grade 10, when majority of them are in prison, when majority of them are not in employment, in education, in training? Where are these men? Then we're going to get another gap. We are solving women empowerment, which we're doing well. Education, health, we're doing well. But we're creating another gap, which will breed more violence, more gay rape, more gender-based. I don't show a society how we don't see that we can do both and we don't have to do either or.
I wish we had more time for the conversation because there's so many WhatsApps that are coming through. But we are being devved by this ad hoc that is coming back after 2 o'clock. And we'll leave it there with Mzamo. But the book is out. This Country Hates Our Men. And he's on a book tour right now. So you'll catch him in many spaces talking about this. Just closing it off, as a father of 3, I couldn't agree more with this book title and can't wait to read it. Thank you for such a book. Violated men violate in capital letters, and men are greater victims of general violence in capital letters, the real crises and enemy. We can't fix our societal issues by vilifying, thus alienating boys and men. It's off-putting, discouraging, and that's from Farai. It's 2 o'clock on the dot. It's time for us to catch up with Ondelambana and the news.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, Witness F withdraws urgent court bid to block appearance, and Canada's school shooting toll rises to 10. For SAFM News, I'm Ondelambana, and a very good day. Witness F, a partially in-camera witness who has been implicated in testimony of the Madlanga Commission, has withdrawn his urgent court bid to block his appearance before the inquiry. Witness F, through his lawyers, turned to the High Court in Pretoria in an attempt to block his appearance. Witness F also wanted to interdict the Commission from displaying WhatsApp exchanges extracted from his phone, citing fears of self-incrimination to support the relief sought. The matter, which was set to be heard this week ahead of his looming second appearance on Monday, was abandoned. This was in light of the fact that the Commission proceeded with the witness testimony last week and started displaying his WhatsApp exchanges. Action SA says it will lay criminal charges against private investigator Paul O'Sullivan for lying to Parliament under oath. O'Sullivan is appearing before Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee looking into concerns around national security this morning for a second day. He's appearing before the committee to respond to allegations about undue influence he has had over police. Action SA member Darlene James says O'Sullivan has lied to the committee about money she believes he received from the police's crime intelligence/fund amounting to 100,000 rand.
You have repeatedly stated that you did not receive any money, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. And today I have brought receipts to prove to you that you have lied to this house under oath. And because you have lied to this house under oath, and we do have the evidence, as Action SA, after this meeting, we will be opening up and laying criminal charges against you.
O'Sullivan, who told MPs that he believes the State Security Agency/fund is the root of the corruption in police, refuted the allegation by James. He says the expenses were part of the investigation into allegations of corruption against the late police commissioner, Jackie Silebi.
He asked me to go, and he said, "You drive the car." I said, "No, I'm not the IPID official. You're IPID official. You drive the car."
So is that what happened?
We went in my vehicle.
Because it was bigger.
Yes, but he drove.
And he drove the vehicle. And when you entered the gate of the estate, he showed to the to security, gate security, his badge, his ID, and you went in on that basis.
That's correct.
7 people, including a minor, have died in a car crash involving 3 vehicles on the N2 near Bulembu Airport outside Eqonce in the Eastern Cape. The deceased were confirmed dead on the scene, while 2 other occupants were sent to Grey Hospital for medical treatment. It is reported that the bakkie carrying 6 passengers collided with the side of a small vehicle before crashing into another bakkie. Provincial Transport Department spokesperson Unathi Bingose says a case of culpable homicide has been opened.
As the Eastern Cape Department of Transport, we are deeply sad accident that has claimed 7 lives. And we are calling on road users, motorists in particular, to be extra cautious, extra vigilant on our roads at all times, because 1 death on our roads is 1 too many. And we are calling on them to take responsibility when they are on the roads to avert any further tragedies.
Police in Canada say the number of people killed in a school shooting in the western province of British Columbia has increased to 10 and left more than 2 dozen injured. 7 were killed at the school in the town of Tumbler Ridge, where the presumed shooter was also found dead with a self-inflicted injury. 2 more people were found dead at a residence connected to the incident, and another person died on the way to hospital. Trent Ernest is a local journalist in Tumbler Ridge.
The province has promised to send supports to the community. So we've already got a psychiatric nurse in town who's able to talk to some of the people. But how this will resonate through the community, it's hard to tell. Like, it's really hard to just process this. So give us a few days, give us a few weeks, then we can start moving forward. But for right now, I think the community needs to just gather together and comfort itself, be comforted.
Recapping the top story, Witness F, a partially in-camera witness who has been implicated in testimony of the Madlanga Commission, has withdrawn his urgent court bid to block his appearance before the inquiry. I'm Lambana for SFM News Headlines at 2:30.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
As we celebrate 90 years of existence, SAFM takes you back to the voices that shaped a nation.
Tolani Gwala will be back again for you 6 to 9 Monday here on SAFM.
And
thanks, Tolani. Good morning and welcome to Morning Talk with me, Kim Gabadeli.
The name is Bonge Kwala. Good to be with you till midday today. Let's engage South Africa.
Welcome to Morning Talk on SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader, with me, Rowena Bird.
90 years of trusted voices. This is SAFM. When music meets nature, something unforgettable happens. Symphony by the Water, a world-class live music experience set against the breathtaking beauty of Midmar Dam, featuring the KZN Philharmonic Orchestra, Spogazi, the Black Lapels, Saturday, the 7th of March, 2026. Day tickets from 150, evening tickets from 350. Tickets available at WebTicket and Pick n Pay. Symphony by the Waters, where sound flows.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a Clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Koketso Sachane on SAFM.
Not so national importance announcement by John Steenhuisen.
We are all important to ourselves. Like, when you come and tell us, if you have to come and give me an announcement, I must believe that that announcement is important to you and it's important to the people around your circle because they themselves are losing a political figure, right? It's of national importance in and around your neighborhood, and I think that's what he meant.
On a serious note, though, what do you make of what's happening?
I think it was almost inevitable, right? Because when you listen to war strategists, they'll tell you never fight a war on 2 fronts. And in this case, John Steenhuisen was fighting a war on 3 fronts, right?
The Meeting Point, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m.
If you love live music in beautiful spaces, Symphony by the Water is one to diarize. It takes place at Madam on Saturday, the 7th of March 2026, featuring the KZN Philharmonic Orchestra with an incredible lineup of South African artists. Tickets are available now at Web Tickets, Pick and Pay, and of course exhibition and stall spaces are available at 600 Rand. And for more information, you can follow at Symphony Waters on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
All right, it's gone 10 past 2, and this conversation certainly did what Dr. Mzamo was hoping to do, in that it opened up a can of worms, and we see all of your WhatsApps. If we didn't have to go back to Ad Hoc, we would definitely have engaged you even more. But for those of you asking as to what the book is called, once again, the title is This Country Hates Our Men, Boys, You Are On Your Own by Dr. Mzamo Masito. Definitely want to take, even just to begin conversation amongst yourselves with your friends, and if you're a parent of a boy child, definitely would go a long way towards that. And you can Google Dr. Mzamo as well. He's a man who's in a prime position to shape some of this discourse as a transformative leader in the intersections of business, social impact and human possibilities. Got about 30 years of shaping global brands across technology and telecoms. We're going to go back into another important national conversation, and that's the one that's happening in Cape Town. Watching this morning's exchange, it did get a little bit heated when some of the parliamentarians were fielding questions, particularly around the claims that Paul O'Sullivan has never profited a single rand or cent for any of the work that he's undertaken, the forensic work that he's undertaken in the over 2 decades of him being in the space. And there were some challenges around that and some receipts as put forward by Actionit's essay that spoke to the contrary. Let's go back to Cape Town, take that Ad Hoc live. It should run uninterrupted for the remainder of the hour. And then I anticipate the next voice you hear will be that of Ashraf at the top of 3.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello friends, and welcome to our Wednesday edition of Kids Corner. When your parents or guardians talk to you, do you listen carefully? Why do you think listening is important at home? How many times do you think an adult should ask before something gets done? What do you think happens when someone has to repeat themselves many times? What sometimes makes it hard to listen or respond the first time you're asked? How does listening and doing what you're asked quickly help your family at home? Alright friends, let's listen to some of our friends while you share your answers with the people next to you.
Good day friends, my name is Sised Mutawing and I'm 11 years old of age. I go to law school at Madam. When my parents talk to me, I do listen, but sometimes I have a tendency of not listening. I think they must ask once and then it must get done. Sometimes then they'll yell at you and you get hurt and it gets hard to respond. It also creates a better environment at home. Do not chat back and just do as said to improve life. Thank you friends, my name is Sised Mutawing and I'm signing out.
Good day everyone, my name is Kiara Kumalo and I'm 11 years old. Yes, I do listen sometimes when my parents speak to me because when they give you instructions from something, you need to follow them. Your parents don't have to repeat the same thing. They have to speak once and you should do it same time. It makes it hard because sometimes you don't know, you do something and you don't know why you did it. That's why sometimes you can't respond. It helps us and your parents' families. They won't have to repeat the same thing. Don't disrespect your family to improve your listening skills at home and around. Thank you for listening to me. Bye.
Good day everyone. My name is Angel and I am 10 years old. I do listen sometimes. I always get caught up in playing. I think adults should ask once before something gets done. Sometimes it is hard to listen because I find myself focused on games and not paying attention to the adults. Listening to my family and doing things quickly, it will help my family with time management and put things at ease. I can improve my listening by always be alert and focus on active and stop playing destructive games. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Hello guys, welcome to another exciting edition of Kids Corner. My name is Chloe Namate. I am 10 years old and I live in Observatory East Primary School. Today we're talking about listening to our parents. Well, when my parents talk to me, I listen carefully because that is where the wisdom comes from. I think others should ask once before something gets done. What makes it hard to respond the first time you are asked is that guilty trip knowing I have done something wrong. It helps my family when I listen and do what I'm text quickly because it reduces stress and conflict and it builds trust and safety. Also, it fosters teamwork and respect and ensures better future. I can improve my listening skills at home by removing distractions like TV and putting away my phone, also by showing engagement in the conversation and being patient. Thank you for listening to me. Bye.
Hello everyone, my name's Andanuman. I'm 7 years old. Yes, I listen to my parents or my guardian when they talk to me. I listen so that I can take instructions and so that I can know what they are saying. So that I can have a big skill because I know that listening it is a skill. So that I can do the right thing what they are telling me. I think an adult should ask only once before something can be done. I think it's hard to listen to your parents and your guardians, especially when they're talking to me and I'm playing and I'm not paying attention. And it's also hard to respond. I don't know what to say because I'm not listening. So it's very important to listen and to respond after listening. If I listen to my family, it helps them because my mom will not stress when I'm listening. And I'll do what is expected from me by my family. And I'll be responsible because I listen. And my family will trust me and rely on me. Like what I can do to improve my listening skills at home by focusing to what my mother is saying, to paying attention what my mother is saying, and I can always ask my mom what she said. Thank you.
Today I am going to talk about if I am a good listener. Yes, I am a good listener. And when people talk to me, I do listen carefully. And yes, it is important to make eye contact when people are talking to you. It shows that you are actively listening and paying attention. And yes, when someone is talking to me, I do listen carefully and understand. Not just answer, and I mean, you be answering something you don't even know. And yes, there was a time when I was asked a question and gave an irrelevant answer, which is not good, but that was in my test. And I think the cause was that I was not paying enough attention or comprehending the question. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a great day further on. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Dembe Ramad. Yes, I am a good listener. Yes, I do listen carefully and attentively when people talk to me. Yes, I think it is important to make eye contact when people talk to you because it is extremely rude to look away when people are talking to you. When someone is talking to me, I listen to understand. There was a time where I gave my parents irrelevant answers when they were asking me questions. What caused that is because I was not concentrating and I was busy with
My name is Muni Angel Nangobera. Yes, I think I am a good listener. I do listen carefully and attentively when people talk to me. I don't really think it's important to make eye contact when people talk to you. When someone is talking to me, I listen
to understand and maybe to understand and to respond. And there is a time where I was asked a question and then I just gave another type of answer, and I think that was caused because I had to catch up with my work because I actually didn't come to school the other day. And so my teacher asked a different question and I answered in another way.
Thank you, friends. It's always great to hear from you. Listening carefully when a parent or guardian speaks is an important part of respect, responsibility, and love. Adults guide children to help keep them safe, healthy, and on the right path. When we listen attentively, it shows that we value the advice and care being given to us. When instructions are repeated many times, it can create frustration and tension at home. When instructions are repeated many times, it can create frustration and tension at home. Listening and responding the first time helps households run smoothly and creates a calm and happy environment. It shows maturity and helps build trust between children and their parents or guardians. Sometimes listening can be difficult because we're busy playing, watching TV, using devices, or feeling tired or distracted. Sometimes we may not fully understand what is being asked. Taking a moment to stop, make eye contact, and listen carefully helps avoid misunderstandings and makes tasks easier to complete. Listening and acting quickly helps family work better together. It saves time, reduces stress, and shows cooperation. When children help at home, families feel supported, and everyone benefits from a more peaceful and organized space. Improving listening skills starts with simple habits: putting down distractions, answering politely, asking for clarification when unsure, and completing tasks promptly all help build good communication. These habits not only help at home, but also prepare children for success at home and in future responsibilities. Listening is more than just hearing words. It is about understanding, respect, and action. When children practice good listening, they build strong character, responsibility, and positive relationships that will support them throughout their lives. That's it for today, friends. See you next time.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives. You are listening to the Ad Hoc Committee, live on SAFM.
Well, let's have a look at this one.
This is a photocopy.
Yes, well, of course, that's the first thing. It's a photocopy of a photocopy. It's not even a photocopy. So its provenance is in doubt, and its veracity, the weight of evidence that it carries is not great in the normal course of events.
Well, yes, you're quite right. But
So would you have a look at that document there? It says a total of cash, postal, and money orders.
pardon me?
It says there a total of cash, postal, and money orders, and then it says 100,000 rand, right just under the date.
Oh, yes, yes,
You
yes.
see it?
Yes,
Then there's a Nedbank stamp on it,
yes.
and then in the total block it says 1 million rand.
Yeah, I think that's not correct.
Well, it can't be. It must either be 100,000 or 1 million. It can't be both.
Yeah, exactly. It's a problem.
And you see that depositor's name and or reference is AN other.
Correct.
Oh, so a bit of a joke.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know where the document comes from, and I assume it emanates from the DSO files somewhere, because this date refers to DSO operations. But there's, the deposit slip in itself is, in my view, deeply problematic. From my experience as a prosecutor, I would have had an issue with this document.
Yeah, I've never seen the deposit slip until today.
So I'm not sure of its evidentiary value. You were involved in a matter regarding a number of articles published by Amabungani. You will recall that it was alleged that Amabungani was in possession of documents that had been allegedly stolen by one van Niekerk.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that matter.
And you testified on behalf of, I think, the Moti organization.
They're clients of ours.
Yes, that the documents had in fact been stolen.
In fact, the person that stole the documents is now on trial.
Yes.
For stealing those documents, and a court order was granted that the documents must be returned, and the accused is currently in contempt of that court order.
Well, no, that court order was overturned at some point by Judge van Nieuwenhuizen and said they must be kept in the offshore location where they were kept and not altered or damaged in any way. That was the result of that. Judge Holland Muter issued the order to say return them, and then it was overturned.
No, the order that they must be returned was taken on appeal, and the appeal was withdrawn, and that order is now valid.
I see. And you say that Mr. Van Niekerk is on trial?
Correct.
And what is the position with that trial, do you know?
I think discovery took place in December, and to my knowledge, the trial should be starting either in March or April.
But in that affidavit, which is the point I want to get to, is you in your affidavit discussed the issues of the metadata and how that would demonstrate that the documents were in fact stolen.
Correct.
Now, are you yourself an expert on analyzing documents to the extent that you can sensibly discuss the issues of metadata?
We have the software that enables us to download.
No. Are you sufficiently an expert to do that?
I consider I've done it for more than 15 or 20 years, so I have the experience. There is no specific qualification that says this is the qualification you need.
No, of course not, Mr. O'Sullivan, but I have been a prosecutor in one or two trials. And in order to demonstrate expertise, you need to demonstrate a long period of proficiency and qualifications and expertise. Yes, and to discuss issues of metadata, in my view, you need to be, sorry, Andile, could you just sit back, please? To discuss issues of metadata and what it means confidently in an affidavit, you would have to be an expert. I'm asking you if you are an expert.
No, but I referred to a metadata report that had been done
by someone else.
Yes.
Yes, but you'll agree with me that if you're not an expert, you can't do that.
No, we just referred to that metadata report.
So that's a little dodgy to then include in your affidavit a view based on someone else's view. So it's not really acceptable.
Well, it might be considered that.
It was certainly found that way by Judge van Nieuwenhuizen, you'll recall.
I don't know about this, okay. Judge van Nieuwenhuizen.
You mentioned Mr. Mdluli from Crime Intelligence and his employment of his family members.
Correct.
While he was in charge of. Now, Mr. Mdluli's travails are many, and in my view, transgressions also many, but that's not what we're here to discuss today. But as far as you're aware, are his family members who were employed, qualified or otherwise, still employed at Crime Intelligence?
My understanding is that some of them were dismissed, but some of them are still there.
And despite all of the time that has passed, no one has managed to get rid of them?
That's my understanding.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm done.
Thank you so much, Honorable Breitenbach. You have requested that you may want to be released at some stage.
I'll be back. I just want to go for a moment.
If you feel the pressures of time, you must know that I have granted you permission to leave and come back. Honorable Thopa, your time starts now.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good day, Mr. O'Sullivan.
Are you participating as a full member or as a...
No, as an alternative.
Okay.
Chairperson, paragraph 164. Mr. O'Sullivan, you make quite that bold allegation that there's many members of parliament who are involved with corrupt crime intelligence officials. Were you saying earlier that you can't or you don't want to say who you're speaking of?
Yeah, I explained that the informant is a confidential informant. So this is an allegation. It's not an allegation that I can present with any evidence. I can just state that I've received the allegation.
Right, so you're saying there's no evidence at your disposal currently?
Only information. I said I've been reliably informed, which means it's hearsay evidence.
Thank you. In paragraph 152, you speak of General Polane's interference with witnesses by interviewing them yourself or that he was interviewing them himself or he had other people interview them. Is this correct?
That's correct. The documents in question were submitted at the High Court.
Thank you. In paragraph 147.17, you then stated there that the salesman, I believe it's the salesman of the expensive sound system, was identified and interviewed by yourself. Is that correct?
Sorry, what's the paragraph number?
147.17.
Yes, he'd be interviewed, but he wouldn't give me a sworn statement.
But you interviewed him yourself.
Yes, because when it became apparent,
And then am I correct in to say that you were the complainant in that case?
but IPID had refused to carry out the investigation, so we continued with the investigation ourselves.
Am I correct in then saying, well, let me ask it rather this way, is it normal practice for a civilian or a complainant to interview individuals? And IPID was involved prior to that,
IPID wasn't involved.
right? Is it normal practice for a civilian or complainant to interview a witness?
We interview witnesses all the time.
So it's normal standard procedure.
Pardon?
So it's standard procedure for the complainant to interrogate the witness.
So in this matter, Forensics for Justice were the complainant through me. And the purpose of the interview was to get information that could be given to IPID. And all the information we got was supplied to IPID.
Thank you. In paragraph 147.13, so it's in the similar section, you sat with the interview with General Patlale's driver.
Correct.
Is that also normal?
I was requested to sit in on that interview.
Surely, IPID was capable of interviewing the driver and tracing the driver. And I wonder, Mr. O'Sullivan, was it the request of yourself to sit in that, or that of Mr. Madlanga?
It was Mr. Madlanga who asked me to.
What did he mean when you guys spoke about in your statement? You mentioned that he wanted to get buy-in with white people.
Mr. Madlanga felt uncomfortable with. He thought that because the person was white, I think a white Afrikaans guy, he felt that the driver may not cooperate with him in respect of detailing the payments that were made out of the boot of the car.
So it was just a front, the color was just a front.
Well, he felt that if a white person was in the interview, he might be more cooperative.
Thank you. In paragraph 18, you spoke about leading from the front. This is paragraph 18. Drug trafficking, human trafficking. Paragraph 18.
Let me just find it.
You spoke about leading in the front, from the front, drug trafficking, human trafficking, etc.
Correct.
You also stated that you were requested to donate 8 hours of your time.
Correct.
And that you were doing about 40 hours per week. And I do understand that you had the financial means to do so. The question, though, is again, is it normal for a reservist to lead such a mammoth task? And is it normal for a reservist to lead such a mammoth task when there are people in the SAPS chains that must have been proficient at the time? You can understand why I ask.
Yes, in fact, there were quite a number of reservists who worked substantial numbers of hours, and we were quite successful in the projects that we managed.
No, I understand. My question is that Is it normal for a reservist to take then such a stance to lead from the front when there are people within the SAP as permanently employed that I'm very sure could have done the same task?
It's not normal, but it happens.
Right. Mr. Sullivan, through you, Chair, who did Mr. Celebi appoint that you said belonged in jail? If you can just give some names there, it's in paragraph 35.
Well, the one person was in jail, that was Richard Ndluli.
Is there anybody currently employed?
Did you say paragraph 35?
I think so, yes, paragraph 35.
No, I can't see it then, paragraph 35.
Could have a wrong paragraph number by accident, but it is where you speak of, sorry, I can't even get this one open now. Where you spoke of Celebi appointing people that belong in jail. I mean,
if you can direct me to the paragraph. So
right, I'll come back to that one, just for time constraints. I think paragraph 37.
While IPID was still awaiting formal feedback from the Ekurhuleni Metro Police on the implementation of its negative recommendations, acknowledged on this date, the 3rd October 2023, regarding the conduct of Brigadier Mkhwanazi, it came to IPID's attention that he had been promoted. This promotion, despite IPID's adverse findings and recommendations, undermines the principles of independent oversight and raises serious concerns about the Metro Police commitment to accountability, integrity, and consequence management. Such action risks eroding public confidence in the institution governance processes. I was expressing these frustrations, commissioners, because we waited for too long that we would at least receive an information that would say at least the initiation process has unfolded. But instead, what we receive now is that he has been promoted. And it got one worried that how then does this happen? Because we understand that a person must disclose that he has got a criminal matter pending as well as the departmental matter. And that then raised the question. But today, as we are sitting here, commissioners, we are talking about a person who is now promoted. And now the commission is established. Now the person is suspended. There is no logic about that.
Okay, and then I think that then will lead us to your third challenge at page 20.
Yeah, the third challenge relates to the threats to IPID investigators. That during the peak of this plethora of investigations within the Ekurhuleni policing precinct, our investigators experience serious challenges. And 38.1, I've made an open statement that investigating police misconduct or criminal action within law enforcement carries inherent risks. That's a fact. IPID investigators often face direct and indirect threats that can hinder their work. The Directorate can confirm that its investigators received threats which included the physical threats and intimidation. The investigators have been subjected to explicit and credible threats to their personal safety during the time. Commissioners, during that period, the investigators were receiving messages that were threatening and relating to the cases that were being dealt with within the their area of responsibility. And it's frustrating because that then hinder their independence. You know, when you investigate and you are free to do so, then you are able to be objective. But when you are operating under the circumstances such as that in the Eguruleni area, it's quite a serious challenge.
And if I may, what steps, if any, did you take when you became aware of the threats to the investigators?
Yeah, when the threats started to escalate, we then liaised with the sister department, a government department that has the capacity to conduct the threats and risk assessment at that time, and they assisted. And based on the recommendations, we then implemented the recommendations in line with our IP protection policy, which included the deployment of security personnel, including at their place of residence for a period of 14 months, so that they are able to conduct the investigation on the matters. But I can confirm that it was very difficult at the time, having to deal with the investigation and also having to make sure that the quality is not compromised. But
now, you do not have anything in your statement regarding the steps that you took, but perhaps because there's a document you signed, if we go to it, it might help us speak more conclusively on this issue. Commissioners, I would like us to pull out Masuku, an extra bundle. You must have a bundle by you titled Masuku, an extra bundle. And in particular, I would like to refer us to page 142, annexure, that would be annexure NPM 6 of Masuku. Annexure NPM 6, Mr. Kefelakai, at 142, page 142.
NPM 6, page 142, I'm at it.
That document appears to be, well, it's signed by you, and it has as its heading, termination of guarding services between IPID and Bidvest Protea Coin at the place of residence of IPID investigators in the Gauteng province with effect from 16 July 2024. Do you see where I'm reading?
Yes, Commissioners.
Is this document relevant to what you are talking about now, and if so, how? And if you could talk to it, please.
Yes, Commissioners. Commissioners, what happened is that as and when we were providing or rather supporting our investigators with the protection, in between there were reassessments that were conducted on threats and risks.
If I may, the document does specify the investigators who were affected. Do you care to read them on record?
Yes, here I've got Mr. Tulani Magagula, Mr. Tulani Dlamini, and Ms. Nomsa Masuku.
Thank you. You may continue.
Commissioners, at the time, we could not just terminate the protection that we were offering to our investigators without checking the risk level. So we had to consult again with the sister department, and they were very committed to assist us because they have the capacity. They want to do the reassessments, and they said, you need to continue. And then we called them again from time to time, and to the point where they said, no, the risk at this point in time, it has been mitigated. And like I have said in my statement here, that the work that we do does not, it goes with the risks. But we also have to be responsible to know that this time around the risk is high, and therefore something needs to be done.
And you testified that what we have here at 142 is a termination of the security services. How long had it been in place prior to its termination on the 11th of July 2024 in respect of these three investigators in particular? Do you have a recollection?
Yeah, the protection was offered, I think it was in 2023 March, and it was terminated in 2024 during the month of July. So if my recollection is right, it could be around 14 months of the protection that was offered to the investigators.
Thank you. At page 21, you then just generally summarize what you call psychological pressure and harassment. If you could just briefly touch on that. Thank you, Commissioners. We may close the annexed file. Thank you. And you may close that Masuku annexed file as well, Mr. Kefelakai.
Chairperson, my apology. Commissioners, during the time when these investigations were conducted, from time to time you would meet up with the investigators just to track the progress of the cases and how they are coping and so on. It was difficult, Commissioners, because during the period,
they might be fraudulent. They're just confirming exactly what you have confirmed, that you have received money.
Well, I've never seen the documents before, but the document would appear to me, if I recall correctly, the amount that was paid to me at the time was 100,000 Rand, not 1 million Rand.
The question was not, have you seen the document before? The question was, what is reflected on this document is exactly what you have experienced in your account.
Yeah, but not the 1 million.
Why? No one has said 1 million. 1 million is a person who was trying to.
It says 1 million.
No. There's no one who says 1 million.
The document says.
No, the document doesn't say 1 million.
It does.
If you look at the printed statement, it says 100,000.
Correct.
Yes, that's what it's saying.
Yes.
So, to try and delegitimize what looks like a legitimate document is unacceptable.
I'm not trying to.
Not you. I'm just saying, following up to what was the impression that was created here, that this might not be correct figures. Why were they giving you money?
As I've said to you, they were refunding some of the expenses I'd incurred.
There's nowhere the written refund. There's nowhere. The first document says, a request for an advance from the DSO confidential funds.
I haven't seen that document.
Have they not shared the document with you here?
That's all I've got, just that. I've not seen anything else.
Yeah, there is a document here from Scorpions
I've not seen
that says they're giving you advance.
I've not seen
and there's two documents. The one says request for an advance from the DSO confidential funds, and then the other one says application for reward, Paul O'Sullivan.
I've not seen it.
Nowhere do they suggest that you are being refunded for anything.
Thank you.
So in a way, you are part of these people who have been benefiting from this slush fund.
Chairman, that allegation was made earlier. The slush fund I was talking about was the Crime Intelligence Slush Fund. Any payment that's made by the NPA or the DSO is not being made from the Crime Intelligence Slush Fund.
No, it's the same thing, Chief. It's the money that they don't account for. The DSO confidential fund.
Oh, I know nothing
it's
about
police.
This
police money.
This is the
It's
first
government
time,
money. It's the public money.
This is the first time I'm seeing this document. And in fact, what they did internally, I don't know about it. I just know that they made a contribution to some of the massive expenses I'd incurred in respect of investigations that I carried out in relation to the two projects. The one was called Project Coffee, and the other one was called Project Bad Guys.
Yeah, it's written here, Project Bad Guys, brackets, coffee.
Yeah, there were
coffee leg.
Two projects. And it related to the international drug smuggling syndicate with tentacles around the world. And this is not a reward. It says here it's a reward for information, but I'd never seen this document before. It wasn't a reward for information. It was refunding of expenses or partial refunding of expenses.
It makes the situation worse, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, because it means the money was released under false pretext.
Well, I know nothing about that.
Because if it says reward and you call it a refund, it means whoever went to apply for this money lied.
I don't know.
That you are being rewarded.
I've only seen the document today for the first time. But it lists a number of names and people that went to prison. So, yeah, I'm seeing it for the first time today.
Okay, let's leave that one. At least we confirm that you have received the money. We're just not finding each other about why you received the money. I just want you to assist the committee in relation to your professional background. So, did you complete O-level or A-level?
O-level and one A-level.
One A-level?
Yeah.
That is equivalent to what in South African terms?
I don't know how you equate it. I suppose it would be something like a matric.
So you've got matric?
They don't have a matric.
No, I'm saying it doesn't matter what they call it.
I think it would be called the equivalent of a matric.
You've got an equivalent of matric.
Correct.
From there, which post-matric or post-A1 level did you go to?
So,
university or technicon or anything of that sort?
I went to a technicon, but I'm not prepared to discuss my educational background.
Which one?
I said I went to a technicon, but I'm not prepared to discuss my educational background. I made that clear. And
no, you have to discuss your educational background because you took our money. We hired you, at AXA. At AXA. No. That's our money.
Okay.
You only get that money if you have reached certain particular qualifications. So we want to see if you received that money legitimately.
Which money?
AXA. You worked for AXA. They were paying you a salary.
They paid a salary,
yes.
And I gave them a good return on that money.
No, it doesn't matter. Did you get any tertiary qualifications?
Yeah, I did.
Which is what?
I'm not prepared to discuss it.
But I want to check if you're qualified.
You go ahead and check.
No. I want to check with you if you're qualified to be head of aviation security.
Well, then you should perhaps speak to
AXA. And if you look at the report of the 2002, there is no even such a structure in the organogram of AXA. In the report of AXA, there is nothing called group aviation security, group heads aviation security. You are the only person who's using that concept. No one at AXA is using that concept. Even the advert, there were 2 adverts that year which were taken out. None of those adverts say group head aviation security. They say aviation security.
So I don't know where you're getting your information from, but I think it's defective. I'd like to refer you to a page in the annexes. Come to the page number now. I'd like you to refer to page 62. and page 63.
Yeah.
And page 64. So on page 62, it's addressed to Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Director, Executive Group Security. Page 63, it's addressed to Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Group Executive Security. On the Business News or Engineering News article, which is page 64, if you look at the second paragraph or the third paragraph on the left-hand side, it says, according to AXA Group Executive Aviation Security, Paul O'Sullivan, this is substantially more than was likely to be allocated had the 2001 terrorism attacks not occurred. And it talks about 150 or 140 million rand budget to improve security. So perhaps those three references would indicate that there is in fact a position called Group Executive Aviation Security.
No, the two heading don't speak to that.
Pardon me?
The two heads, the two things that you referred me to under Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Director, Executive Group Security. That's number one. Number two, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Group Executive Security.
Correct.
There is nowhere where they call you Group Head Aviation Security.
So my job title was Group Executive Aviation Security. So if you look at the page 64, on the third paragraph on the left-hand side, it says, according to AXA Group Executive Aviation Security, Paul O'Sullivan. So
No. That's what you call yourself. That's not what your employer calls you. I mean, this is an article. What you are referring me, it's an article of a newspaper, and that's how you would have said, this is how they must address you. But where you are being addressed officially in the letter of the institution, it says Director Executive Group Security. Then the second one, it says Group Executive Security. Nowhere do they refer to you as Group Head Aviation Security.
So those people wrote what they thought was my position. My position at the time and my contract of employment was Group Executive Aviation Security.
No, Mr. Paul, I'm saying to you, even the advert that was advertising that position did not write Group Aviation Security. It wrote Head Security.
It's 25 years ago.
Yes, then you arrived there and gave yourself a title that is non-existent.
No, that's not
because
true.
It's not there in the organogram of the institution. There's no such a position. In their report, if you go and read their 2001 annual report, which will probably be published in 2002, if you go and check that report, you will realize that there's no such a position in that structure.
Chairman,
but let's pass that.
I'm just making the point that I was employed at AXA and I was employed in the position of Group Executive Aviation Security.
But say, I'm going to have a problem because you cannot refuse to tell me what are your tertiary qualifications, yet you occupy a head aviation security position, which its equivalent now, as if you look at the adverts this year, they require a master's degree and some 5 years experience. So I could imagine during your time, there's no way, even the one that I'm referring you to, it says it requires a degree or an equivalent. That's why I want to check your qualification to match it with the requirements so that I can make a determination that you are indeed employed through your qualifications.
And am I correct in thinking, Chairman, that that's in the terms of reference of this committee, to look into the qualifications of a civilian that has nothing to do with it?
It has got everything to do with it.
We're going back, no. We're going back more than 20 years. Okay, and my qualifications were obtained 40 years ago. So I am not going to get into a debate. I have rights. And my rights include the right to privacy. And you would know from the Constitution And my right to privacy, I will maintain, and you can dig into my right to privacy if you want. I'm here voluntarily, and I'm not going to submit myself to providing information which I believe you're not entitled to. So you can repeatedly ask for it, and you can make all the assertions you wish, but I'm not supplying you with
You know
my
why
private
you're
information.
making this a big issue is because you lied yesterday and told us about a technicon that is non-existent.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's not there. You did. You told us that you went to some Manchester engineer or something. The chair can confirm that.
Okay.
You said that yesterday that you went to Manchester Technicon or something, and then when we went to research that institution, you said you went to a training in engineering. Yeah. We did not find such an institution existing.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, you occupied a senior position without qualifying because you had infiltrated the system.
If you believe that.
And part of our investigation, the reason why we go to qualifications is we want to demonstrate that these people they don't have the necessary skills, yet they occupy strategic positions because of their proximity
in the police
to those, not in the police.
But aren't we supposed to be looking, Chairman, at the allegations from the KZN Commissioner of Police, and instead you're now diverting? So what you've actually done, Chairman, is you've first of all invite me here, I come here, and now what you're doing is you're trying to impugn my character, and you've been doing it for the last 5 hours. And
we'll be right back with the Ad Hoc Committee. Just a reminder, the SFM News with Momentum, those with financial advisors, have a better shot at generational wealth. Speak to a Momentum accredited financial advisor for advice that meets your context. Right? It's the news at 3 with Ondela Mbana.
Thank you, Ashraf. On the top stories, 7 million rand budgeted for this year's SONA, and Trump set to meet Netanyahu in Washington today. For SFM News, I am Ondela Mbana, and a very good afternoon. Parliament has announced a budget of 7 million rand for this year's State of the Nation address. This is significantly less compared to last year's budget of 15.5 million rand. The presiding officers of Parliament, led by National Assembly Speaker Toko Didiza, today briefed the media on Parliament's readiness to host the SONA. President Cyril Ramaphosa will deliver the State of the Nation address tomorrow evening. Secretary to Parliament, Golile George, elaborates.
Last year we budgeted 15 million rand. And 15.5, and then we spent 12.3 million. Equipment alone was 9.1 million. Again, there's a context of that huge variation of last year versus why is it significantly less this year. Last year, we had to add a component of hiring the ICC. As you would know, a lot of our guests of members were hosted at ICC. This year, we have a marquee in front of the City Hall, which you will see.
IPID Director of Investigations and Provincial Coordinator Thuso Gifelagai has testified at the Madlanga Commission that the city of Ekurhuleni did not have the desire to implement the recommendations made against Julius Mkhwanazi. IPID recommended that Mkhwanazi, the suspended deputy police chief in Ekurhuleni, must be disciplined for the blue light matter, which involved Vusimuzi Ket Matlala. Gifelagai is testifying on the alleged corruption and criminality in the city of Ekurhuleni.
Commissioners, I think I said that at some point a letter was written to the municipality because there was no initiation that took place. And then subsequent to that, myself and other colleagues, we took an initiative to drive to Ekurhuleni to meet with the mayor at the time and the MMC. And we raised concerns about the fact that there was no action that is being taken.
Witness F, a partially in-camera witness who has been implicated in testimony of the Madlanga Commission, has withdrawn